New year, new me. I'm gonna start going to the gym 5 times a week. Even though I've never gone before. I'm gonna take up Japanese. I don't know why, I just am. And yeah, I'm gonna take up knitting. Again. I told myself I'd do it last year and I didn't, so now I really have to do it, even though I don't really want to, but Sheila's doing it and she's doing a good job. Yeah, 2018 is gonna be a good year. Right? New Year's resolutions. I'm already dreading talking about it. I feel that there's a reason why a lot of people can't stick or even make their New Year's resolutions, including myself. I keep saying that I don't like making New Year's resolutions because it overwhelms me and it makes me feel bad when I don't achieve them. But I'm gonna try something new, and I figured that you guys might want some tips and tricks on how to make New Year's resolutions and stick to them. I am by no means an expert on this subject, so just take my advice with a grain of salt. This is just me trying to help you guys in whatever way I can. A lot of people define resolutions as different things, whether it's a goal or a habit that you want to change. I kind of incorporated both into my resolutions, so if there's a mishmash of stuff like that, that's probably why. One of the biggest mistakes that I find people make in terms of making resolutions is that they make their goals too broad. I get it, it's in terms of a year, so it's gonna be broad, like that's what you want to achieve or the habit that you want to make that year. That's great, but it comes off too broad to the point that it might overwhelm you or you won't know where to start. And to that, I say that you should break it down into smaller, achievable tasks and goals. Like for example, one of my biggest goals this year is to get a job in a career that I like. Now, it's not a surprise to anyone that YouTube is not everyone's full-time jobs. You know, I don't have millions of subscribers, so and also like this is not everyone's dream career. I am trying to make it mine, but you know, still trying. Getting a job in a career that I like, well, what does that even mean? Now, some of you guys probably don't even know what careers you want to go into, which is completely fine. You don't have to know. It's worth exploring and figuring out what that is. So for you guys, I would say to match the skills and knowledge that you have with some interests that you have and see what career fields or jobs that kind of fall into and you want to try. For me, I have the pleasure of knowing what I want to do or like the things that I'm interested in doing. And I also already have a cover letter and resume. So for me, the first breakdown would be to make a list of jobs that I'm going to apply to. Like just make a list, simple enough. And then the next step, the next breakdown would be to actually apply for those jobs or network with people who are already in those fields. If you still can't wrap your head around that, or if that still seems too big, or you can't, like you need a more rigid schedule, like you're a person that needs like a schedule like that, then break it down even farther. Like I broke mine down to say like apply to one job a week. In terms of networking, talk to 2 people from LinkedIn a month. Chop your yearly goals up into a month by month thing, and if that's still hard, into a week by week, and if that's still hard, make a to-do list for the day. Easy enough to see, like either at the end of the day or the end of the week, so that you have an incentive to do it. And that's the next point I want to make, is to make your goals achievable. Make them realistic. Make them something that you are able to do. An example is that I want to build healthier habits. And one of the unhealthy habits that I want to nix is eating too much sweets. I want to eat a more balanced diet. I want to eat more vegetables. Now, I have a gigantic sweet tooth, which is not good because I have diabetes running on both sides of my family. Oh god, I've been very lucky with that. I mean, other than that, it's not healthy to be eating that much sweets. My goal is to eat less sweets and eat more veggies. Now that's still too broad for me. I can't just say that because I'm just gonna be like, oh, whatever. I set my goal, my starting task, to replacing 2 desserts a week with a fruit. That might be too easy for some of you, but for me, that's a good starting point. Instead of reaching for a cookie, I could reach for a banana or an orange or an apple or something. That's something that I can do, that I can keep track of. I can't just quit it cold turkey, because I tried that before and the only thing that happened was that I binged it as soon as I could eat it again after the 2 weeks that I was on a diet. Implement it into your lifestyle. At this point, you might have heard me say like numbers a lot, or times a week a lot, like once a week, twice a month, blah, 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 blah. And that's the next point, is to make your goals or resolutions measurable. If I learned anything from my supply chain management class, it's that what gets measured gets done. A lot of you guys are gonna have losing weight as a resolution, and that's very innately measuring. You're taking your before weight and then comparing it with your after weight and then seeing the success rate of what you're doing. But what if your goals or habits are more abstract than that? Like, one of my biggest goals is to make and keep strong relationships. How do you measure that? Like, especially for someone who works with numbers a lot and is very logical, how do you measure that? My advice is to just make it quantifiable. Put numbers with it. Like, one of my goals is to make a new friend and just be more friendly in general. And in order to do that, I have to talk to someone new. So I told myself that I would talk to someone new, or someone that I don't usually talk to, at least twice a month, and then see what happens from there, like hang out with someone new once every 2 months or something like that. And in terms of building stronger relationships, I told myself to talk to, check up on, or hang out with my friends at least 3 times a week. Now, if you need to define that for yourself, go ahead and do that, but I know what that means for me. Travel with a friend like once every 2 months. Forgot what I wrote, but yeah, something like that. If you need to measure how far along you're getting on with your goals and habits, then you need to put those numbers in. And speaking of measuring your success rate, or speaking of measuring your progress, I should say, if you don't enjoy what you're doing anymore, then you don't have to keep doing it. I think the main thing to get out of it is to prioritize your resolutions. Like, one of the things that I want to do is to relearn piano, or like get better at piano, and I'd like to sight read, which I can't do right now. I used to take piano lessons as a child. I told myself that I would practice twice a week. Depending on how interested I am in it, or how interested I am in other things, that might have to take a back seat to other things. And especially when something comes out of the blue in life and just kind of like knocks you over, don't beat yourself up if you can't, are not able to try to achieve that goal right now, because like, let's face it, like some things are more urgent than others. I get it. Life gets in the way. I'm not making that joke again. And also, if things are hard, don't be afraid to make them easier. Not too easy that it's like super achievable off the bat, but also like, if it's turning out to be impossible and it's only like pissing you off that you can't do something, then make it a little bit easier for you. Make it so that you can do it. Reverse of that, if something's too easy for you, then make it harder. If you've already achieved the goal you've set early on, get to the next level. The point of resolutions is so that you are improving yourself, that you're bettering yourself. Not that you're bad now, but we can always all improve ourselves in one way or another. And that brings me to my last point, which is, I don't even know, I guess it's just like a summary of everything, like have fun with it. A big resolution that I have this year is to just stay creative, because in my life I've dedicated a lot of time to studies and things that I don't care that much about, but I thought would like get me a lot of, I don't know, good grades or praise, or like what other people thought, that I didn't really have time to do what I wanted to do. And I want to make sure that I have time for that. So I have a bunch of like creative endeavors that I want to do, like YouTube and writing a bunch of things, comedy, acting. I want to try to paint. I don't remember the last time I ever took a visual arts class. Like, it's probably not since middle school, honestly, like 12 years ago. Also, if you drop something, don't be afraid to pick it back up again. It's never too late to start something. Like, I think it happens a lot when people's resolutions are to exercise and they make it through like 3 weeks of January and then stop for like a month or something, and then they feel like they can't keep going because, oh, it's too late to keep going on my resolution. Like, I have to start it over next year again. It's kind of like that excuse of like, okay, I definitely have to start studying at 6. Oh, damn it. Fine, I'll go get my stuff. Oh, but it's so far away. Oh, maybe I can start writing without it. Okay, I guess I'll start at 7. If you exercise 3 weeks and dropped it for a month, that only brings us to February. Like, there are 10 months left in the year. If you can make a baby in that time, imagine what else you could do or make. So don't be afraid to pick something up in the middle of the year. The goals that you set in the beginning of the year are not set in stone. They don't have to be if you don't want them to be. Don't be afraid to add or change or subtract. Don't think that just because you set that resolution, that means you have to follow through if you don't enjoy it anymore, if you don't care about it anymore. Now, I'm not saying to stop if it's too hard. Don't do that. But you don't have to know everything that you want to change. You don't have to change it if you don't want to anymore. Like, if I find that piano's not as enjoyable as it used to be, I don't have to have that resolution anymore. And also, like, with my creative goals, like, let's say like an opportunity came along that I didn't write down. That doesn't mean I have to say no to it. I can say yes to it and then just like do everything else later, as long as I'm enjoying myself. So I think that's the main thing, is to enjoy yourself and make sure that your resolutions are still true to you. If that makes sense. Oh god, I don't know where this video ended up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know I touched my hair a lot in the video, but that's just because I don't usually film these things, or things like these. I'm a little self-conscious. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found something useful in this, and that you guys will come back and watch my other videos. I'll see you guys on the other side. Bye!